I mean, can you
we
believe
heard the
that?
interview with Joe Biden and Mika.
It was painful, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first he tried, Joe's always, look. Joe's always telling you to look. Look. That's how he always, look. You listen for that with Joe Biden. It's like Dr. Burke says so. Just like Elizabeth Warren used to start every answer with so, and Dr. Burks does it as well.
So, confession, I do that too.
So stop it. Okay? Look, stop it.
It's time to buy. It buys you time. So it sounds better than So anyways, continue.
All right. So one of the things, kidding. One of the things that is so interesting is that it has been reported that Biden's operatives actually accessed within the past year those records at the University of Delaware. He may have known something was coming, and he may have already sent his operatives in there to look for something. Now, it's interesting to hear Mika ask him, why can't you just do a search on her name? He didn't have an answer for that, if you notice. Well, who does the search? I don't know, maybe the university, maybe a commission you put together. I mean, you pick. You pick, Joe Biden. But he can't really answer the question. As all he could do is repeat his talking points that that's not where the personnel records would be. Now, you just compare the way the media has treated Joe Biden, totally hands off. I mean, even though that was a somewhat tough interview, it wasn't that tough. She didn't really drill down on him on some of the details and really hammer him. And we can just compare that with the way Brett Kavanaugh was treated back during his confirmation.
Agreed. Her tone was more severe than the actual questions.
Exactly. And she did let him kind of dangle in the wind there a little bit with these long periods of silence, but that's his own fault. He wasn't prepared to answer tough questions. She may have gotten a little bit off script. And by the way, we're understanding that some of these interview shows with Joe Biden are actually fully scripted. And you can hear the difference between the way he sounds there and the way he sounds, for instance, when he's talking to Al Sharpton, where he's just rattling stuff off. It almost sounds like he's reading. But what I really wanted to get to, there's a couple things I wanted to. First of all, what do you think it is that he said to Putin that he doesn't want known? If you remember, Joe Biden talks about meeting alone with Vladimir Putin. And I remember from the Russia investigation of the last several years of President Trump that no person can ever meet alone with Vladimir Putin and not fall under his sway. He's like Dracula with those eyes. I mean, he just mesmerizes you, and you have to do exactly what he says. I mean, that's the mythology that they give us on Vladimir Putin.
I think he put something in the vodka.
Maybe he puts a little something in the vodka.
This sounds almost similar to Bill Clinton, because if you ever hear anybody who's met Bill Clinton in person talk about him, they're hypnotized too, but in a different sort of way.
Right. So
Putin
what happens?
has his vibe. Clinton has his vibe.
Right. What happens if we put Putin and Clinton in the same room together? I mean, there's it's like matter and antimatter, and it explodes. I don't know. But Biden obviously doesn't want anybody to find out what went on in his meetings with Vladimir Putin. But more importantly, the point I kind of wanted to get to is if you look at what some of the media is saying, and this is out there on Twitter and other places, you can go out and find this, and the media is saying, they're actual representatives, reporters, or put quotes around reporters, but the people who write stories, columnists, et cetera, are saying we are treating Joe Biden the exact same way we treated Brett Kavanaugh. Now, if you believe that, you've got a very short memory. If you believe that, I mean, they are totally gaslighting you. What is gaslighting? They're telling you something is the truth, which you should know to be a lie, but they keep repeating it, and they want you to believe it or think maybe you're crazy. Maybe you're misremembering the way they treated Kavanaugh, because the truth is that the media would never lie to you, would they? They lie to you all the time, and this is just one more instance. And I hope you see the hypocrisy here. I hope you see the comparison. It's so close in time. You've got to see it. You've got to see the difference between the way that they went absolutely bonkers over the Brett Kavanaugh allegations, about which there was much less actual evidence. In fact, only Christine Blasey Ford's 16-year-old girl voice testimony, that was the only evidence supporting her position. Right? At Tara Reid, we've got significant factual evidence. There was some kind of report made. In addition, her mom called Larry King. We played that clip for you last week.
Just saying that you were doing a great job of describing gaslighting, and a fun little psychological fact about gaslighting. It's like the number one tactic sociopaths use to control people.
Well, I tell you what, the media people are a bunch of sociopaths. That much is obvious. They don't care anything about the truth or trying to be consistent. I mean, they just simply can't. And then to sit here and tell us that they're treating Joe Biden when they wrote like 700, and this is stories written, for example, just by CNN, almost 700 stories in 19 days CNN wrote about the allegations against Brett Kavanaugh. Now, that's just stories written. Remember, CNN's primarily a television channel, a cable news network, in fact. And how many on-air segments did they do on the Kavanaugh stuff? I mean, you're talking about probably hundreds. Now, how many did they do about the Joe Biden allegations in the first 19 days? We had this quiz last week. You'll probably remember the answer. Pat George?
I would.
0.
I would say, 0.
Sorry, I gave you the answer.
No, but did you see or hear the Pelosi interview about Biden?
I've seen a couple of them. Tell me which one you're talking about.
I'm talking about when they compared it with Kavanaugh. Kind of the same questions, and then they gave her answer about Biden, and then played her old answer about Kavanaugh.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's so different.
Yeah. Well, it'd be hilarious, but I'm sure if you're sitting in Brett Kavanaugh's seat, it wasn't very funny.
It wasn't at the time, but no, she's really. You can tell she's really give him a chance. You know, the facts aren't in, but when it was Kavanaugh, it was all you've got to believe her. She was right.
Well, they set the rules until the rules don't suit them, and then they change the rules, and the media goes right along with it. They are part and parcel of this propaganda. That's what it is. It's propaganda, and the media goes right along with it, and they just want to tell the story to get you to think about things in a certain way. That's their whole goal, and don't you feel like they're manipulating you? I know I do. And I don't like it. I would like some more intellectual honesty and some more consistency out of my media. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.